All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got ONSYDE Gaming's Maru in the top right of the map, representing ONSYDE, up against Dragon Kaiser Gaming's Oliveira. Now, this is really cool because obviously Maru lost to Oliveira in the World Championship Grand Finals, despite being an overwhelming favorite. Since then, he came back and 3-0'd Oliveira in the Pigfest round of 8. They haven't played too many other times, but I believe Maru's won most of them. And this is an exciting match because Oliveira, herO, and Dark are an incredible team, Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Some of the favorites to win the whole league, but also you've got ONSYDE, Maru, Solar, and their other players whose names elude me right now, but Twitch chat will remind me of who they are. I'm used to saying Neeb because obviously Neeb did really well with them last season, but he did unfortunately retire. The point being, Oliveira versus Maru is both a very good match for ONSYDE because he's so favored to win, but also kind of a waste. You kind of want Maru to take down herO or Dark, right? One of those guys, I would say, one of the bigger favorite players. Oliveira, you could argue, is the weakest player on Dragon Kaiser Gaming. That's crazy. I know he's the world champion, but Dark and herO are just so consistently powerful, right? Likewise, Maru, one of the best players in the world. And you don't normally in a team league want your best player versus their weakest player. You want your best player to take down one of their best players, you know, or one of their second best players, and so on. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. It is, of course, a best of 7 overall score between the two teams, where each player plays 2 maps. So we're starting with Maru Oliveira, but we've also got those other players I mentioned waiting in the wings for the follow-up matches. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. If it ends up tied, 3 maps each, then that's where we get a revival of some of the former players to play that ace match. And here we go, Reaper scouting around right now for Oliveira. So Oliveira went for an SCV scout. That's incredibly safe play. And what did he actually see with that? Basically nothing. He just knows it's a wall off. Maru going for a 1-Rex expand here. Interesting. Now, was this a gas first build? It does look like it, because he's gone Reaper into Factory and Reactor without building a Marine. Command Center on the high ground. It's a pretty solid opening. Meanwhile, Oliveira is going for a more standard double gas into 2 Reaper Hellion. And he's actually mining a lot of gas very early. The moment his command center started, he put his workers back on gas. And it looks like he may poke forward for a little bit of a pressure. Accidentally attacks his own Reaper. Oh my god, what did he sleep with your wife or something? Dude, sort that out when you're not on duty, okay? You guys can go to the bar, have some drinks, punch each other in the face a few times. Not in the middle of a conflict, all right? Oliveira has a stern talking to those soldiers, and they do indeed agree to put their differences aside for now. Hellions are being pumped out of that factory 2 at a time. Good way to keep yourself safe and catch up after the delayed unit production with the command center. Is that double Hellion production? Oh, Ryung, of course. Ryung, of course, is the third player that is a very, very good player on ONSYDE Gaming. Often gets overlooked because he kind of lives in Maru's shadow, but he is Maru's #1 practice partner, and those two working together is part of why Maru is so good in late game. Ryung is also capable of fantastic late game. Really, really solid late game. Apparently, Ryung is called the Tuna Man himself. Why does Ryung mean tuna? What is the tuna? Where does that nickname come from? Let us know. We've got Caster Maddox, a Korean caster and translator in the chat. You guys might have seen him on a few of the broadcasts translating and stuff. Got the pleasure of last year's Katowice, not this year's, doing a whole bunch of interviews with him. Don't think I got to do any this year. Maybe one this last year, 1 or 2, not many. Get lots of different people there, and I didn't get to do imitation Smix this year like I did the previous one. Previous year they didn't have a stage host, and I got to do a job that I absolutely don't know how to do. Put on a suit and try to introduce players and then not be too awkward in my interviews afterwards. Probably failed terribly at, but had a good time anyway. It's always a pleasure hearing from the players, and especially having the Korean language people who can actually communicate clearer with them, hearing the backside, the in-stories of what's going on, you know. Crank or Maddox, when they're talking to these guys, often hear a lot of the little in-jokes the players have and all of the different little kind of memes that go on in the community. Now, obviously, Maru has famously spoken about how he hates even thinking about playing Oliveira because Oliveira has basically took away his chance at becoming a world champion for the first time ever and really getting the cherry on top of his legacy. And it's not that he hates Oliveira, but it's too painful to even think about that match. So every time he beats him, he says it doesn't even feel good. It just feels like it's a reminder of how much he dropped the ball in that World Championship Grand Final. And it was painful. The first time I heard Maru talking about that, I was like, dude, that's crazy. But it makes sense. But it's crazy to really just think about the feeling of how painful that is. And it's interesting. Oliveira, on the other hand, He's a very good TVT player. But like every good TVT player, you guys can ask Cure, one of the best TVT players in the world, would probably be dominant and would have won many GSLs if it wasn't for Maru. But you play against Maru, you can be top 3 Terran in the world, TVT, doesn't matter. You look like an absolute nonce in half your games versus Maru. Speaking of which, is that triple Raven in 8 Hellions? What is this opening for Maru? That's crazy. This is a really cool force because if you've got a lot of Marines or something, these Hellions can like one-shot them. He can spam matrixes on the tanks or auto turrets. It's like a very mobile roaming force as well. It can jump on and ambush any lone units in the map. Cool opening from Maru. It was interesting that he didn't decide to commit for the push. I wonder if he could have dived in, dropped auto turrets, and actually done very well. He might have been able to. Oliveira has not missed a beat on his workers. He's actually up 2 workers right now. Scan sees that the barracks are up a little bit quicker for him. Are they? Not necessarily. 4th and 5th barracks is 20 seconds faster. Nothing too big. Army supply is ahead for Maru. Maru may have a slower 3rd command center momentarily. Oh, well, a few less SCVs, but he's been hitting his barracks production a little better. I don't think he can attack out here, though. Not if there's tanks sieged. Maybe with Interference Matrix he can. We'll have to wait and see. Find out exactly how that one goes. 4th and 5th barracks is coming in right now. Raven's coming in. Watch out. Oh, that Matrix is scary, man. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Where's the rest of his army? There's that Banshee. Could come over here. Oh, there's still a lot of Raven energy left over. He's going to try and siege the tank, but the auto turrets get down way quicker for Maru. Oliveira a little slow to drop those auto turrets. One of those Ravens, I think, went down still with energy remaining. The Banshee trying to fight this off, but my God, Maru just stacks the Raven energy and just shoves in with everything and realizes, I have not missed a beat on my unit production. I know you like to be a little greedy and focus on SCVs and command center timing. Guess what? You got a few workers ahead, and I'm going to kill you for it. Beautiful instincts by Maru, great Raven usage, and it looks like, if not a kill move, a mortal wound. Something where he stabbed him in the guts, you know, his kidneys bleeding out of his side, and definitely a bit of a struggling situation for Oliveira right now. Maybe, just maybe, he can recover, but it's a big ask, losing 17 workers, and it's not like Maru did a crazy 2-base push. He skipped like 2 or 3 SCVs, was a little bit more focused on his bio production, but more importantly, he had the Ravens out earlier. The gas first opening was a bit more greedy and efficient in the early game, and Maru used that to absolutely smash. Extra Marines, stim done there as well. GG, well played. All right, guys, nice revenge match there for Maru. I think when he gets about 100 games versus Oliveira, he might start to feel that pain fade away, but that was pretty decisive. Oliveira had a pretty solid opening. I thought he looked okay, but I think, yeah, just kind of a bit too efficient, the gas first opening comparatively, and then not getting enough factory units out in time. I think if I was to analyze that last game, we'd probably see a little bit of misproduction from Oliveira. But either way, Maru with a nice start to the series. He's going to go for a proxy barracks, is he? No? Oh, he's doing a proxy 2-Rex Reaper. Right? But he's going to only proxy one of the barracks. So he wants to make it look like a normal build, and then surprise with like 3 or 4 Reapers. Ooh, tricky build here for Maru. Maru going very, very naughty. Excuse me. Oliveira going for the double gas build. We'll see how he goes with it. SCV is going to go out. Looks like Oliveira does want to SCV scout in this game, at least for proxies, if not elsewhere. But scouting that far away is very unlikely. Maru has to drop a second gas because he wants to go 2 Reaper production and then get a factory. Command center goes down super late with this build, and you can see he's already down 2 SCVs. Oliveira's scout might work against him, though. Unless he clicks the gas. Okay, so if he goes into the main, clicks the gas, and realizes this gas didn't start till after a minute, he'd be like, why is that gas 7 seconds late? And he can realize this is not a double gas build. Also, if he doesn't scout up here, he might... Actually, seeing no depot, he knows the depot's up there. He knows it's probably a wall-off build at the Reaper ledge. Does he click the gas? Does he click the gas? He doesn't click the gas. He has not clicked the gas, guys. There's a 100% chance he has not done it. He sees the barracks. He thinks it's a normal build. Oh, Oliveira. He will not know what he's up against. He's going to have to be careful. And you can see his Reaper is rallied really safe. He does have a spotting depot, thankfully. But he's going reactor. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a big problem, guys. Second depot is building there for Maru. Another Reaper building here as well. And this Reaper is going to catch the SCV by the looks of it. Yeah, turn around, get the SCV. Because that's what you do if you were playing a normal build. You're just like, oh yeah, kill the SCV, deny the scouting, doop-de-doop. But now he's going to join up with 2 Reapers, jump in. If he can kill that Reaper, Oliveira's in the doo-doo. Oliveira's pulling SCVs right now. Wait, he does realize what's up. He knows what's up. Oliveira with a great read. He's smarter than I am, guys. He somehow realizes without clicking on the gas. Very nice play here by Oliveira. The players do often swap colors if the admins don't enforce it, guys, so I apologize for that. Not much I can do about that. That's just on the admins running the tournament to make that happen. Oh, you know what? He doesn't get too much damage yet. Denying that depot is okay, but I would just start a new depot in the back if I was Oliveira, and actually avoids critical damage by pre-pulling those SCVs. Great read by Oliveira, guys. This barracks being out here is not cheap. The command center has not started for him. Oliveira's going to go starport before command center. Okay, interesting. He's building 2 Reapers at a time. 4 Reapers could still jump in. You got to be very careful as Oliveira. Oh, look at this. Maru's only showing a few Reapers. So if the units come down, he only wants him to see 1 or 2, and then there's a kitten biting my foot right now and wrestling with it. It's hilarious. Sorry, it's very ticklish. Stupid kitten. Reaper Hellion comes out. Careful, Oliveira. You need to get out of there. You need to get out of there. Uh-oh, Reaper does go down. Oh, getting a Reaper, not a bad pickoff there for Maru, but Oliveira escapes with most of his units, which is the important part. Hellion Reaper going to rotate around. Siege Tank is building here for Oliveira. He's thinking already about a Marine Tank counterattack. He's actually building a Viking. And look at this. Is he floating a barracks forward? What is this build? Proxy Tank Viking? Maru playing the craziest thing ever. And because the starport got spotted, it's basically one base war right now. Maru is going bananas. He starts a command center. I think realizing this has been scouted, Maru's like, you know what? I might not be able to force the victory, but if I stay fluid and switch back into economy behind it, I can make it work. So he's floating 1 barracks home while floating 1 barracks forward. What's so funny about this, guys, is he took the barracks from home to use as the spotting barracks and took the barracks from the front and sent it home to build add-ons and units. Maru right now has been hitting the Soju. I'm going to call it. I don't know if you guys will. Pig, don't talk smack on players. You don't know, that's for sure. That was a pretty hilarious move. He basically just swapped the barracks for no reason. The Reapers are going in. Nice mass repair. He's got to change targets. You want to change targets. When they do mass repair micro like that, you want to change targets to the different SCVs, because the SCVs are slow to get together and repair that. Siege Tank getting some shots off, though. Uh-oh. Careful. Oliveira messing up his micro. His units are kind of rallying down there. What's he doing here? Oh, man. He sieges up in range, but the barracks doesn't have vision. Mistake from Maru. He doesn't keep proper vision. He was distracted by the Reapers, so he couldn't see that Siege Tank in the north. Double Viking coming in right now, though, for Maru. He's maybe going to try and land that, but that's very dangerous. Oliveira, don't lose your Viking and you're A-okay. Oliveira still building Vikings, as is Maru. If Maru can maintain the air advantage, that's going to be big, but he loses it. Big mistake for Oliveira and beautiful execution by Maru, navigating the chaos like crazy. For those who don't know, this is harking back to Maru in 2012. Maru 2012-2013 is actually amazing. He did so many silly one-base all-ins, especially in practice back in the day, and he was always confident with these weird styles that you'd normally only see random people cheesing with on the ladder. He doesn't bring them out in tournaments very often, though. I don't know if this is disrespect or him honestly trying to play the surprise tactic, but he does overcommit. He's lost 2 tanks. He hasn't got the critical damage, loses a Viking to a Cyclone in the retreat. Oliveira cleans it up. And if you lose this production, you lose the game. Oliveira is looking fantastic right now, guys. He is looking really, really good, but that's a bit of an ambush. That's a lot of Reapers out there. Oliveira, he doesn't have many supporting units. It's just the tanks and the Cyclone. You cannot be losing this. This is your advantage right now. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oliveira thought he could get out there. He pushed out too early, loses 2 tanks. We're back to 2 tanks dead on each side. Those landed Vikings and those Reapers adding a lot here. The SCVs get pulled. The Cyclone gets shot down before the lock-in can do anything. No, Oliveira, he loses that tank. Oh, and his Vikings were distracted by the barracks during that as well. Very well done by Maru. And Maru takes what looked like a position that hadn't quite worked out for him, and he's going to salvage it. Those Vikings probably could have landed there, but with the tank quickly unsieging for Maru, he has adapted and adjusted nicely. Oh, I thought Oliveira had navigated the chaos, but Maru just keeps throwing the kitchen sink at you, and he finds a way to get it done. Twitch chat has nicknamed that the Yoga Pants Barracks, the Distraction Barracks. Oh my. Depots are still proxied on the map. Random tech labs left scattered all over. But behind this, Maru's now got a tech lab and a reactor up at home. So he's swapping into proper bio upgrades, Stim Marines. He's got a 6-worker lead. He's going to add an engineering bay. And that's a very good setup for him. That's really nice. Reapers are going to jump in the main as well. Any more damage is already catastrophic for an Oliveira that's taken so much damage already. And Maru has been kicking off this series with straight fire. Oliveira and Dragon Kaiser Gaming. I mean, obviously, Oliveira is a big underdog in this match. You've got the greatest Terran in the world who is a specialist in this matchup, TVT. It's part of why he's so dominant. And Oliveira is a good TVT player. Some would say a great TVT player. But anyone taking Maru down is tough. Oliveira is not going to give up yet. He gets in there and takes out 4 SCVs. Very nice move with those Vikings, but you don't want to lose them on the way out. He takes out a Viking and then lifts, but those Marines stutter step underneath. Maru says, nuh-uh. All 3 Vikings go down for 4 SCVs, a Viking, and maybe 1 or 2 Marines right there. We've got a Viking double production on the reactor as well. 3rd Command Center goes down for Oliveira at the exact same time as Maru. There are chances for Oliveira still in this game, but that 3 barracks production is a huge advantage. I cannot understate how massive this is. Or overstate. I can't overstate it. I shouldn't understate it, I guess I should say. I don't know, tangling up me words and me logic. I'm excited because there's going to be about 30 Marines with stim shields and +1 for Maru 1 or 2 minutes from now. And on the other hand, Oliveira, well, this is smart. He's got a Viking tank push. He's going to get a nice position, but there's no production in range. He can move forward and kill a depot, but he can't really break the tank position of Maru. And the thing is, the longer you stay here, the more opportunity there is for those Marines to get out in the medevac and flank you. He's already building a medevac. Maru does need to queue up some more. You can see he's a bit gas-starved right now. And with shields halfway done, +1 almost finished, these Marines are going to give him complete map control. Oliveira now starts a 2nd and 3rd barracks. Had a slight supply block, but he pops out of it pretty quickly. Does need to build more depots, though. A new supply block is going to hit if he's not careful. I guess the 3rd command center will unsupply block him in about 6 seconds, so fair enough. Engineering bay does start up for Oliveira as well. But the Marine count is huge. The Marine count advantage is huge, guys. 23 Marines with stim shields +1 for Maru. That's all kicking in 10 seconds. Meanwhile, 5 Marines with nothing on the other side. Doesn't even matter if you have stim when you've only got 5 Marines. Oh, Oliveira. Okay, he does get a shot off, but those tanks do manage to take him out. Landing that 3rd shot before he could get off his 3rd. And a siege tank in the red for Maru, but it's still got the same firepower for now. Viking count is very solid for Oliveira, but they're not the most useful in terms of raw firepower on the ground. Oh, nice move. Does get that medevac deep in the red. Maru bringing more Marines and tanks forward. Is he going to pick up and go? He might pick up and just boost into the main. If he gets in on top of this army, he basically crushes it. And Oliveira, I mean, he's struggling. He's got to scan this army, because if he loses track of it for a moment, he's screwed. Meanwhile, Maru takes a 3rd. 2nd eBay Armory going down. He's got his 4th and 5th barracks up. A beautiful row of barracks in the main. Barracks alley. Vikings coming down. They're looking for the medevacs. He's going to try to pick up maybe with these... Oh, look at that. Maru just sieging in range of the enemy tank. Loses his Reddit point tank, but then he one-shots it. If there's only 1 tank or 2 tanks covering an area, you can just move your siege tanks in and siege it. He's going to get rid of combat shields. Oh, medevac boosts in to try to finish that off because Maru did not have a scan. But Oliveira had already given up on it, had already lifted off and pulled that barracks back, not realizing the scans, of course, were empty. Double lib comes in from behind. Oliveira's looking for the magic comeback play. Remember Ancient Cistern. Remember that game, that final game in the grand finals. It was devastating what the double lib did, but this time they fly into a missile turret, and while they kill a few SCVs, it's not the devastating damage that he found in that game-winning map of the World Championship. Tanks are in a good position covering this main, but that drop can still get in there and cause a ruckus. No tanks in there. He's going to drop right on top. Dropping right on top of the enemy siege tank. That other siege tank on the right is not quite in range. SCVs try to evacuate. Oliveira trying to scramble to defend. 17 Marines versus 39. He loses one of his engineering bays, and his bio is just so much worse. +1 combat shields is done, and there's more Marines and medevacs there. The Vikings are going to try to equalize. He's going to have to creep his tanks forward just to get him out of this main base. Maru chipping away at Oliveira and really building advantages for himself. 4th Command Center is up behind it. He's just going to rotate around this main, and he'll pick up and leave in a little bit, but no, the medevacs are getting shot down, so it looks like it's mostly a one-way trip. Hey, nice catch by Oliveira, gets the full medevac. Tanks are still moving around at the front. This buyer says, okay, we're finally going to get cornered. Let's see if we can take a tank on the way out. The answer is no. Oliveira with some fantastic trades at the tail end of that, tying up the units lost tab. But of course, he's on 2 base versus a 3 base Terran going on 4. He's down 20 workers as well, and that's a big problem. Oh, he denied shields again. I didn't catch that. Thank you, Twitch chat, for calling that out. He denied shields again there with the bio as he rotated. I thought that was just a regular add-on. Oliveira will never get combat shields in this game. In this sort of scenario, I really like the player in Oliveira's shoes swapping into mech, going for a second factory, and focusing on just Vikings tanks and trying to basically play a Mega Turtle style. You can still invest in some Marines if you want, but the tank of Viking is your advantage, and focusing on that is what you'll do to win. The medevacs boost out. They don't quite end up doing those bombs. It is just a tank for a tank. And Oliveira, I mean, right now, Maru's the one who's just in charge. He's got 2-2 on the way. Combat Shields restarts for the third attempt at 12.5 minutes in the game. Oliveira going to start to siege this back very slowly with the Liberator. He's got the command center down, but if Maru sees that, he stims on that, it goes down instantly. The siege tanks move forward. The Liberator a little slow to siege there. Ooh. Anytime you're taking anything approximating an even trade, it's so good for Maru. Gets rid of the Liberator, and Oliveira says, okay, screw this. I'm going to boost out. Remember, there is still a tech lab out there. He's got to go around these production buildings, all the way around that left side of the map. But Maru scans, and immediately Maru should grab his army and move left. Maybe split a Marine to the right as well. But look at this. Yeah, Maru knows what's up. And he's actually going to split to both sides because he doesn't know where it is. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just split to both sides. It's all good. I think I've got enough units. I don't even care. You can't do anything to me. Oliveira is doing the Hail Mary Doom Drop pattern. So you get him to cover the flanks and then you shove it up the guts. Very smart play by Oliveira. But the units aren't too far away. Great positioning. Oh, it's a big move. Gets a siege tank, gets a couple of Marines there. Going to gun down that medevac, a couple of SCVs, and stim into the main, but there's a lot more Marines behind him. His combat shields will kick in a moment. He's going to take the concave on top of the ramp. Nice move by Oliveira. Good micro by him, but Maru's buying time for the rest of his forces to come back in here. At the same time, Vikings tanks are skirmishing on the other side. The Marines are going to try and hold the ramp, but there's too many of those Maru Marines. He does pick up and boost on out, trying to escape. The Marines of Maru are chasing in his own medevacs. Maru still up 17 workers and in army supply. Oliveira has that air advantage. The Liberator is going to start to work that. Gets a siege tank. We'll take out another one. Good focus fire by Oliveira. Did not shoot the Marines, which is what it would automatically do because the Liberator thinks the Marines are more of a threat because they shoot up whereas tanks don't. So if you don't target it, it's going to shoot Marines instead of those. Ooh, hot pickups. Great moves. Not losing any more tanks. Maru's at 7 tanks versus 5. He's actually down on Marines right now. Of course, it's the lack of income and the lack of upgrades that hurts Oliveira. These are 0-0 Marines versus 2-2. Right now, we are sending men with muskets to fight modern special forces, night vision, bloody, full, state-of-the-art equipment Navy SEALs. Those are Maru's Marines. We've got goddamn musket soldiers over here. This is like a civilization battle where you're an age or two behind, but there's no Marines of Maru. Sick break on the tank line by Oliveira. The problem is Maru is just going to shove all of his Marines across the map on the other side, and even a handful of his Marines are absolutely elite, gunning those Marines down with the Jolly Boys in front, and Oliveira is going to fall 0-2 to Maru. Maru continuing that beautiful, beautiful production. GG, well played, and that domination over Oliveira. Since that one big upset, Maru starts off the series with a 2-0 for ONSYDE. All right, guys. We're going into the next match. It's herO down here in the bottom right, up against Solar in the top left. And a little birdie told me that Solar has upgraded his play. And indeed, it looks like it's true. That's right, guys. That's 14 drones. Extractor Trick, 15th drone. Oh, 15 hatch is going to be coming down in a moment. Okay, this is really good because herO is going for that pylon block like he always does. And Solar updating his play, learning from herO recently in the EU regionals where herO absolutely dominated. And this is something I've been very critical of players for not picking up a bit earlier, is trying to get these hatcheries down earlier. Dark especially. Look at that. herO comes in and he goes, oh damn, I sent the probe across. And really? Does another extractor trick, builds an overlord, and then a spawning pool next. Perfect 15 hatch, 15 pool opening here for Solar. herO will try and attack him, do a bit of harassment here by occupying those mineral patches, but not really going to affect Solar very much at all. As long as Solar goes for that 15 pool, he'll be fine. Moves up there. And that's a very well-timed build order so far. Now, the question I have is, does Solar play this like herO? herO likes to both get ling speed and a pretty quick third base. There is alternate ways of playing it, though, where you delay one of those to just go straight for tons of workers, and you focus on saturating your natural expansion incredibly early. Because remember, with this build, not only do you get your hatchery faster, but because your hatchery is faster and then you go for an earlier spawning pool, you can start 2 queens at about 10, usually about 10, 11 seconds faster than normally 2 queens start. That means your double injects are coming out earlier. It means you have so much lava available. However, I have noticed most Zergs instead, they'll say, well, it's hard to spend all that lava. Let's just spread creep really early from the natural. So it gives you a big kickstart on your creep spread, and that allows you to do some good stuff. But oh, he built 2 Zerglings, delaying the queen. Slight mistake there, I believe, for Solar, because he took his gas reasonably early, and he built 2 Zerglings, not to mention the probe harass. So that queen on the natural is slightly delayed. You can see she's about 11 seconds. This one's about 16, so about 4 or 5 seconds difference between the two. Not perfect for Solar, but still a pretty darn solid build. And considering you're usually only injecting in the main, that's a-okay. Now, so far, we don't see an Overlord. Oh, yes, we do. Overlord's about to pop. Solar, no sign of moving out to a third just yet. There we go. Yeah, so he's going to do the herO version. Looks like Solar has copied herO. This is a very fresh game, of course, by the way. Dragon Kaiser Gaming versus Solar. This is round 8. This is played 2 days, I think, before I've cast it. Maybe 1 day. So it is a very fresh series, and you can see that Solar has studied his builds. He's really keeping things up to date. No chrono on the Adepts, so herO is actually focusing fully on his macro. Double chrono on probes. Wow. Big economy focus for him. Now notice there is a bunch of lava sitting here idle because you don't have enough minerals to do it, especially while building a 3rd queen and an Overlord. But I think nonetheless, look at how early the creep is. You've got a decent drone count, quick 3rd up, your natural's where you want it to be, so it's much easier to defend Adept pressure. Because of that, herO says, well, if it's easier to defend Adept pressure, I won't even commit to it. I'll just have a single poke with this Adept, and behind it, chrono probes, go for oracles. And that pylon coming up on time. 2nd gateway to complete the wall off. Adept pokes forward, sees this creep spread is getting pretty far out of the natural. And shades in. Only 2 lings here, but with a new queen popping out, not really worth committing. And it looks like herO's going to shade another Adept forwards. He maybe is expecting the ling speed to be a little more delayed than it actually is. That thing is almost finished. Sending the Adepts across at this moment could be risky. If he puts them in like a wedge between the minerals, it's okay. But yeah, herO maybe not having much experience against this build. If he just threatens the shade to force these 6 Zerglings and runs home, it's a great move. But if he commits, it's very dangerous. Oracle flies into the main, those 4 queens. Great movement by Solar. Really good movement. The Oracle takes a ton of damage. And herO unable to find any real impact so far. Solar's going to 6 queens already. Those 2 Adepts. Ooh, Solar does show the Zerglings. Definitely wants to cancel that. And heading back to the 3rd base is herO. He's got the 3rd and 4th gas on the way, as well as a 3rd Oracle. A lot of lings coming forward, 12 of them. Catches these Adepts out front. Because they've already shaded, herO can, of course, just take a few pot shots and know that the shade's going to take him to safety. Oracles were thinking about diving on a queen, but with the 2nd one there, one of those Oracles already so damaged, he ain't going to find much. The drones are very quick to pull away. Look at that. Says, if you want to go in here, you're walking into 3 queens, mate. Really great defense. Spore on the main, Spore on the natural. And a lot of queens on that 3rd base. Evo chamber goes up behind it. That's going to be for the melee upgrade, most likely. Equal workers on both sides, which, to be fair, is not that amazing for Solar, but he's got 20 Zerglings on the map as well. So if he can catch some Adepts, he can maybe even do some counterattack damage. Oracles coming in. Ooh, watch out. Nice focus fire by the Oracles, but herO does not pull back the weak one. Looks like he's going to get 2 queens for an Oracle. And grabs 2 drones on the way out. Oh, that one's dead. That one's dead. There's no way, unless he recalls that. He goes back in, recalls the one on the left. It actually gets another couple of workers. Wow, okay. Downside of this is he's got only 2 Oracles left rather than 3, and they are both deep in the red, but if he's not planning on diving on workers and just using them more to kill Zerglings and defend, that's okay. 6 Adepts are coming forwards. These do not have glaives, though, and there is already over 20 Zerglings, so I think Solar is well defended against this. The worker count's still pretty much dead even. herO going for Blink, going for +1 behind this. Revelation goes down, does snipe down that creep tumor. Solar should be immediately replacing that, and indeed he does. Those queens dropping some deuces on the ground there. A pair of deuces say, let's spread the creep. Adepts say, no, no, no. herO keeping that map control away from Solar just a little bit. And that Oracle needs to turn on that laser beam. And Solar's happy to waste the energy and back off. Quick 4th base for Solar. 4th base, but the lair is really late. Starting at almost 6 minutes. It's basically just mass Zerglings and drones for now. But you know what? Probably worth getting this trade. Even if the Oracle's going to kill a few Zerglings, gets 2 of the Adepts, does pull back. Behind this, no 4th base, no extra gases. It is 61 probes of Mass Stalker or Die Trying. herO is about to hit a supply block and he hasn't started the pylon. There we go. Nexus and a pylon go down. He's going to need a bunch more pylons in the near future to keep warping in these Stalkers. And he's rebuilding that one Oracle that he lost. Stalkers and Oracles, very good units, of course. Oracles do blitz through the Zerglings, but Stalkers kind of just get swarmed over and destroyed. And with a Baneling Nest up, I mean, I'm surprised there's no Roach Warren yet. You'd expect one just to open up the transition opportunities. But we can definitely imagine +2 melee Bane speed and an onslaught of mass Zerglings coming out across this map. Zerg is ahead in army supply, 47 Zerglings, 6 Queens versus 12 Stalkers, 3 Oracles. hero's going to start posturing forward while adding Cannon Battery at his 4th base behind it. The Ling run by goes in. These Lings have got to be careful. Stasis traps backing up those Stalkers. herO unafraid of this, but oh, Zergling set off one Stasis trap. There's 2 more where that came from. And still 1 more Stasis trap. He gets a big juicy. The Lings come in from behind, though, trapped on the bridge. Luckily, the bridge is a choke point, so the Lings actually can't get that much surface area. The Oracles are destroying them. Oh, man, I thought this was really good for Solar, but Solar just threw away 50 Zerglings for 2 Stalkers. That is an ouchie. I mean, obviously, some of those were on the Adepts earlier, so maybe 30 Zerglings for 2 Stalkers. That's not a good trade. Units lost tab looking great for herO. These Stalkers already veterans just after a few skirmishes. They've seen some fierce fighting. More Zerglings coming in. Another Oracle flows in. The Foracles here. And much like hair follicles, they are... there's no analogy there. I'll stop. They kill some Zerglings, but there's actually just an endless stream of Lings. But oh man, great positioning on the buildings, creating choke points where he can. And the units lost tab actually tied up a bit there. A bunch more Stalkers go down, and you can see every Stalker that falls is worth so many Zerglings. In direct cost, it costs as much as 7 Zerglings. That's assuming you weight gas and minerals evenly, whereas normally we do tend to weight gas, especially for Protoss, a little bit heavier. Now, the problem is the Zerg can't really spend their gas on that much in this game, so cost for cost is a decent way of looking at it when it's pure Ling Stalker. Here we go, focusing down the Stasis Trap on the back, but that one's going to go off. No, it doesn't. Oh, transfuse. herO gets the base, though, tries to blink and recall. Ling Bane will take out 2 of those Stalkers before they get out. And that is a very nice snipe. Putting a Zerg back to 3 base when they're massing Ling Bane is a mortal blow for many of them, because they simply need minerals to produce. And without a 4th base, your main base is half mined out now. That is not good for the Zerg. Solar needs to take a 5th base now as well. He's going to take it up front and center. I always find it fascinating that Zergs like this base when they're playing Massling Bane. I always thought Massling Bane was more of a mobility style, not a front-on style. Solar apparently thinks differently. He's going to take out the battery overcharge over there. Zealots warping into the choke point nicely. They should be able to hold on well, especially with the Oracles arriving. Very close game, but the economy is very scary for herO. herO is up on income right now, and denying that 4th base has made it so if he gets his 5th up, he is miles ahead. As Solar says, what was that, pig? What did you say about herO having a better economy? Banelings find the mineral line and immediately knocks herO's economy down a bit. A lot of those probes still go in walkabout. 12 of them did go down, and even more will fall. But can he defend the push on the front? The Zealots are here. There's no Banelings. There's no Banelings. Without Banelings to deal with the Zealots, they are tearing up those +2 melee Zerglings. Oh my god, the Zergling rally is so powerful. Another 10-12 probes go down. herO's economy may be absolutely gone. But as always, herO never cares about having an economy. I've got an army and it's in your base and I'm ripping you to shreds, says herO. What a savage, man. If there was like 10 Banelings ready, that's a very different scenario. But herO with the killer instinct realizes Solar is a bit busy using his Banelings to do run-bys, a bit busy dealing with the multitasking. herO senses a bit of weakness, and he is a man you cannot show even a moment's weakness to. I gotta say, if you're facing off against herO, you're gonna be like one of those old-time men. You know where like your leg is literally being chopped off by like a tractor in a goddamn farming accident and you refuse to go to see the doctor? If you're playing herO, you need to be that sort of old-school stoicism, you know? When stoicism meant just like pretending that your physical pain doesn't exist. Heck yeah! herO even warping in sentries like a savage. And he does get in on top of it. That snipe on the 4th base and then getting in with that thrust when there just wasn't any Banelings. Solar's got to be kicking himself. No Banelings, no Roaches or Ravages. Hard to deal with Zealots without either of those. Well played by herO. Gets one back on the board for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. Alright guys, going to the next game. herO, we're in the top right, going for a no scout gas first. He says, oh, you're going to do a silly 15 hatch 15 pool opening? I'll just play greedy then. I won't try to block you. Unfortunately for him, the hatchery does go down on 16. So Solar's decided to do a standard opening. And I mean, it's still good for herO. He's going for a greedy build, right? If you're not being aggressive, then you do tend to want to be greedy in this matchup. Not a bad way to do it. Giant map, great for multi-prong. I've seen Protoss players dominate on this map, but I've also seen them get dominated. Your bases tend to get very spread out. Most of the high-level Zergs I've talked to don't like playing ZVP on this map. They feel like it's very difficult because it's just hard to kill them. But I always feel like there's a lot of opportunity for multi-prong run-bys, and especially if you use things like drops into the main, that sort of stuff, and that can be fantastic. Cybercore comes in. Still no scout. Most players scout after Cybercore just to check that their opponent hasn't done anything crazy. herO says, when I'm in, I'm in. I'm in for all or nothing. Now here he's doing a really technical move we called long distance mining. This is way less efficient than just telling these guys to mine off these patches that are a little bit further away, guys. But MaxPax and a few other Protoss players do it as well. My theory is they see that when 16 out of 16 turns to red and it goes 17 or 18 out of 16, they don't like the color red. And so rather than using like logic and organization and knowledge of builds, Protoss players have started to go, me long distance mine from natural, even though it's objectively worse. Not my favorite, guys. Much like beyond putting 3 workers on one gas and none on the other gas, you guys know how I feel about this. Slight inefficiencies that are completely unnecessary. And guys, that Stargate went down incredibly fast. 26 seconds ago, my god, yep. 213, 214 Stargate. Now, you got to realize this, Solar. You should expect this. Whenever your opponent doesn't probe scout, you should know it's a gas first, and you want to go incredibly early onto that Spore Crawler in the main, or incredibly early into the 4th Queen. One of the two to make sure you're safe against that. First Oracle starting before the 3-minute mark. The only problem with having your Stargate this fast is you don't have your normal Chrono Boost ready yet. So he's going to have to wait. He's like, come on, 48, 49, 50, Chrono Boost! And does Chrono it almost immediately. Really tight execution by herO here. Non-stop queuing up an extra probe just as the other one is about to finish. Very clean. 4th Queen's on the way. It should be out in time. It's going to be finishing in 20 seconds. Don't think the Oracle can pop and cross the map in that time. So there will be 4 Queens out. 5th one trying to start on this natural expand. Big supply block on 44. I mean, it's not the end of the world. There's not that much minerals queued up, of course. It does slow down an Overlord. Oracle comes out and actually pauses with the Stalker to deny this Overlord. Not a bad move by herO. Extra Overlord on the right for Solar. Ready to come in for the follow-up scout a bit later. Ooh! Oh! Ow. Overlord here. Right now, we are watching a high-speed chase. And this person here is in a mobility scooter. And that police officer... Oh! Oh, God. You could have just tased him. Seriously? That was... Wow. It's a very American stalker. My lord. It's part of the LAPD. Whew. Anyways, Twilight Council's on the way. 3rd and 4th gas as well. 3rd Nexus is coming up and halfway done. Evo Chamber's on the way. I don't know which one's the got the worst. I was just choosing one off the top of my head, guys. Anyways, Oracle does go down. Nope. Goes into the yellow hit points. Depths are going to shade across. Wow, okay. You know, Solar's being forced into a lot of Zerglings off just 40 drones right now, guys. Lings are going to go after that pylon. The Depth's coming in. If you can hide the Ling count, make it look like there's just 4 and he finishes the shade, it's great. But I feel like herO's been very good at canceling those shades. Not this time, though. Good focus fire. He got 3 drones instantly. Still a good defense by Solar. You know, losing 3 drones is perfectly fine because now you've got map control with those Zerglings on the ground. herO's going to keep shading across. And he's hoping the Lings will counterattack, not see these Adepts coming, and he can shade in and get big damage. Oh, look at that. He hides that he's seen it. Solar pulls the Ling back and says, hey, idiot. Guess what? I saw you coming. And herO is not happy with that. Another 2 Adepts getting donated here. Can they shade out in time? One of them will. Just barely one of them gets out. The Oracles have to turn on their laser energy. Oh, good micro by herO. He gets a lot of those Zerglings with that Oracle stutter step. 1 Adept does get home. Cannon is up. Blink +1 and are on the way. Stalkers are going to kill that Overlord. And we've got once again a mass Ling build. But Zerg does find himself behind in the workers. Even though he's won a few of those trades, behind in the workers, no Spore on that 3rd base. And a Roach Warren goes down. I love to see it, guys. I think the Roach Warren's just a much more solid structure than Baneling Nest. It's okay to play Banelings once in a blue moon. You don't want to do it too often because obviously it can backfire. Zerglings are chilling out right now. Here we go. Okay, Oracles and Stalkers. Gonna clear up for a 4th base attempt potentially. 2nd Stargate in a fleet. Okay, herO's trolling, guys. herO is playing 3 base Blink, and he's decided now to go +1 air weapons into carriers. He's going to play Stalker Carrier from below 100 supply. If you guys didn't need proof that herO was insane, or you hadn't had it yet, this game is your proof. Let's look at herO's camera. He's like, yeah, this is a logical build. I make Blink Stalkers, and then I make carriers. They're my 2 favorite units. And you're like, what? Nothing in between? What if he A moves you with like Ravager Bane? Doesn't he just kill you? Like, what? This is a crazy build. What if he goes Tempest or something? That'd be even funnier. It would make no sense, but yeah. This is a wild choice by herO. Gonna go for a surprise carrier swap. I mean, the good thing here is it can catch your opponent way off guard. Solar's actually built a lot of Zerglings, 5 Roaches. Only now is he droning his 4th base. One thing I sometimes am a bit critical of Solar for, maybe he thought there was an attack coming because there was no 4th base, right? But I do feel like sometimes he waits for the 4th base to finish building before he starts droning it and misses out on the opportunity to have that fully droned up the moment it's done. On the other hand, he now sees the 4th base attempt going. He probably thinks he's going up against Stalker Storm. Man, this could be really bad for Solar, because if he just doesn't Overseer Scout, doesn't see the carriers, he could start to really be like, what the hell is going on? He's got to realize something's up. Because this army is so small, there's not that many Stalkers. It's 6 gate Stalker. And like Solar's like, what are you doing? He's making a hive. If he could make a Spire, he'd be fine. He needs a speed Overseer or something to scout though. Without an Overseer, that's a problem. The carriers are going to hide on the high ground for now. He keeps sending Zergling. Solar's like, what are you doing? He can't figure it out. Oh, chat's saying he saw +1 air. Very smart. He would have seen the Cybercore upgrading there. He hasn't started the Spire. He should be making a Spire. He might not have registered that. Ling's are going to go in, try and wrap around these Stalkers. Ling's wreck Stalkers. But good micro for herO to try and get away from that reckoning. Carriers are going to come down. And this is the first time Solar knows for sure there's carriers. Immediately a Spire drops. Yeah, he did not notice the +1 air weapons, unfortunately. Unfortunate for Solar there. Otherwise, he could have had that Spire, you know, 30, 40 seconds complete by now. 3rd and 4th carrier come out. I don't think you can really do a carrier timing attack as herO. I mean, we know there's nothing that shoots up except 8 queens, so yes, technically he could. But he doesn't know that. He doesn't have enough information. It would be a very risky move. 4th base is up at 75 workers. 88 drones for Solar. Now, there's a problem, guys. Solar is a mid-game Zerg. I often talk about Solar as the man who can be quite technical in the late game versus Terran, but versus Protoss, this man, his style, you know, there's a guy doing martial arts, doing Tai Chi or something out there, or it's like Steven Seagal in that terrible movie where he's in a coma and he wakes up and he just does acupuncture on himself and suddenly his muscles are back to like full 100% again. Ooh, nice bailing run by. Ah, gets 5 probes. Not too bad, not too bad. Could have got a bit more, but good zealot block by herO. So anyways, my point is basically Solar, I can't remember where the analogy was going. The point is Solar, he likes to pick up a brick and smash his opponent's face in. He uses henchman level skills. He doesn't use Steven Seagal acupuncture Aikido to deal with his opponents. No. So the thing is, this late game Skytoss stuff, it demands a little bit more finesse. And I've seen Solar get way ahead versus Skytoss and then kind of have the game slip away. I think every Zerg's experienced this at some point in their career. Banelings once again only get 2 kills. Good defense so far. Oh, he traps a bunch of Stalkers up the middle. Nice move by Solar. I like the way he split some Lings ahead to catch the blink away. Really nice plays. How many Corruptors is he building? 13. No Vipers though. That's really odd. Why are there no Vipers? He's just going Mass Corruptor, which can work. This is very like old school Dark. Back when everyone was trying to use Broodlord Infestor Viper, Sporecrawler Queen, Dark was literally A-moving Ultra Corruptor every game and beating Skytoss and making it look easy. I think Solar might be looking for that, where he's like, screw Spellcasters, I'm just going to swarm the ground with enough Roach Baneling, and then I hopefully have just enough Corruptors to shift-click down the Corruptors. Problem, the carriers. He probably doesn't have enough Corruptors. 15 Corruptors, 6 carriers. If the few Archon shots land on the Corruptors, they're going to make it very hard for him to win that fight, especially with +2 air weapons done when he has no air upgrades yet. Banelings find the mineral line. Not bad. 7 workers go down. I like how constantly Solar is sending these Banelings in. Little gnats biting at the heels of herO's economy. And remember, Solar has a lot of economy, but his maxed out supply is always going to be his enemy. He's got a lot of bad units. He has 8 Queens that are nearly useless at this stage of the game. He has 12 Roaches, also not very useful. He needs to trade. He needs to do it right now. He's got to dive, and he's got to go for it. He doesn't have an Overseer! Oh, no! Wait, they're coming. Okay, he's got Overseers. They're just a little bit behind. He does know about Mama. Overseers a little bit behind, though. No Overlord speed is a problem. It's almost finished, but it's not quite there. Now he showed the attack. The chance for the surprise has worn off. He's got to click that battery overcharge down right now. He should be able to. And here we go. 2 Void Rays are out, as well as Archons. A lot of Archons. Not enough Roachling Bane to deal with those Archons. He takes out a Void Ray. He takes out Mama. He takes out 26 probes as well. Clearing that mineral line was pretty good. But he loses his entire army for it. What's he going to remax on, guys? 40 Lings, 7 Corruptors. Problem is, Lings don't deal with Archons. You need Ultras or Lurkers. You need something to deal with the Archons. Maybe take a leaf out of Uko's book, go for both Ultras and Lurkers. But until then, that Ultra Cavern's not done. It's just mass Lings, Banes, a couple of Roaches, and Corruptors. He's going back up to 14 Corruptors. That's not enough to deal with this number of carriers. You want to get to like 24 or something where you can one-shot a carrier. But he's not got that count just yet. Here we go. Big Archon Zealot carrier push. Solo does not want to fight in that choke point, man. The Queens have pulled to the front line. They'll help tank a little bit, but their damage is not that meaningful. Corruptors, only a handful of them. And man, the supply doesn't look good for herO, but I guarantee you that Zerg number is about to drop because there's nothing that shoots up. The carriers, Void Rays, and Archons obliterate the Corruptors. The Queens go down. Looks like they had to pause in the middle of this match. We are, of course, casting off replays. And they unpause for Solar to GG. Looks like he also wiped out maybe the probes on that base as well. I guess this was during all this. Oh, here we go. During the big fight on the left, he got 2 Banelings in. And they weren't bad. Very well played. All right, the series continues now. It's tied up 2 maps apiece. And of course, it's a best of 7. First to 4 wins. Dark is a big favorite going into this match up against Ryung. And if he can win 2 maps in a row, he will finish it for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. On the other hand, if Ryung wins at least a map here, obviously if he wins 2, he wins it for them. But if he wins a map, it would be more of his goal, I'd say, as the underdog in this matchup. Someone who struggles against Zerg as well. So it's a pretty bad matchup for him. But it's a good map at least. If he can win 1 map, he'll force the ace match. They can revive. It could be Zola, but let's be real. I think it's going to be Maru. And who the hell do you bring back versus Maru? Who's the most confident? Dark, herO, or Oliveira? I always feel like herO is just the favorite there. But he's struggling in TVP. Q has been destroying him recently. I imagine he's not crazy confident versus Maru. And my god, Ryung, did you just rally workers behind the gas? Oof. His first Reaper is going to be delayed a little by that, guys. That's not the cleanest there. So you're going to notice a slight mistake. He misclicked his SCVs behind the gas rather than on it. So then when he clicked them in, they obviously pop out of the gas where they popped into it. And you know what? He's got the 50 gas anyway. Never mind. Man's barracks was late. That isn't necessarily his fault. It could have just been the RNG that his SCV popped over here when it finished the depot. So it had to walk an extra second or 2 to start the barracks. If you don't pull a second SCV to build your barracks, that's just the way it goes. Beyond one of the few players who used to do that, he would always pull a second SCV to build his barracks on Moondance. The reason why on Moondance is because that was a tiny rush distance. So he wanted to get his Reaper out even 1 or 2 seconds faster would often mean 1 or 2, like 1 extra probe kill basically. So he was always happy to sacrifice a couple minerals to get an extra probe. Ryung comes in, sees the hatchery. Looks like he's going to try to block the 3rd. Now, this is always a very tentative move, something I'm not a big fan of. Dark is rushing Ling speed. Wow, okay, so he's planning maybe some Ling backstab shenanigans. That is a Dark specialty. The reason this move kind of sucks is the Zerg can just send their Ling straight across your map and kill your SCV on the command center. So let's see if Dark does that, because he can extract a trick here, send a drone and a Zergling to kill that SCV on the other side. You can't block both bases at once, right? So, Dark... he's not running out. He's taken a while to make this decision. That lets the command center get up. It's too late to go across now. He's going to try to sneak across, but the SCVs see him. And he's also not sneaking a worker out to build a 3rd, nor is he building an Overlord right now, guys. You need to, whenever your 3rd gets blocked, you need to build an Overlord. There we go. Overlord starts. It's a little late, but it should diminish that 36 supply block at least a little. Why is he not just taking the other 3rd base? I did not like this response from Dark, guys. I normally don't like this move for Ryung because it is so punishable. Even if you just send 2 Lings, the Reaper intercepts them, gets 2 Ling kills, I don't think losing 2 Lings matters at all. Whereas getting your 3rd hatchery denied this long is so frustrating. 3 minutes and 10 seconds. At least he's done a good job of building Overlords and holding that drone key down this time. So he's going to saturate his natural pretty quickly. His 6 Lings trying to get in for that Ling speed run by that he was planning from the start. But Hellions almost there. 3rd command center build is, of course, what's happening. About a 5-second window here. He's going to get the Reaper. The Hellions are almost out. 8 seconds till the next Hellion pops. A Reaper and 2 SCVs, man. This quick Ling speed, I always am like, it's not the best economic opening. The number of times Dark finds a Reaper, 3, 4 SCVs, in this case even 2, makes it well worth it. Beautiful opening for Dark in that regard. His third being late sucks, but you know what? He's overdroning, and that's a good idea. Just overdrone, put your dudes on gas. When this third is finished, you're going to saturate it real quick. I think he still comes out on top of this opening. Banshee starts up here for Ryung. We don't know if he's planning to go Cloak or not yet. It's become a little more common, I would say, to go for the Cloakless build, but he's just hit 100 gas, so we'll find out if he doesn't start in the next few seconds. Probably is just one safety Banshee. And Cave Bob! Dark's going Cave Bob style, guys. He's going Roaches. Now, you might wonder, why is he going Roaches? When does he choose to do it? Well, this is a small map. It's great for aggressive Terran pushes. And in general, it's hard to defend the tank positions. Roaches and Ravages are way better at handling that than Ling Bane. Because, oh, there's a tank here. You can't get at it. You just corrosive bile it across the cliff. You don't even care, right? But Ling Bane struggles a bit more with that. Now, Dark should know it's a 3 command center build from the timing of the Hellions coming out. So I still think like he definitely should be droning very, very, very hard all the way to like 70 workers, then massing Roaches. We'll see how we go. Raven's coming out to join with the 6 Hellions after that Banshee. Spore Crawlers are being built in the main and the natural. Nothing in the third just yet, which is, of course, the most vulnerable base. Dark finally remembers, starts that Spore on the right of our screen. Banshee does nothing. Gets deep in the orange already. Hellions are starting to poke forwards, leaving 2 at home to deny scouting. Great move there by Ryung. Making sure that Dark doesn't get any free information. He could sacrifice this Overlord, but right now he's having too much fun watching what can only be described as a WTF moment, guys. This is what happens if the Ewoks go feral on Endor. There is a dead cow, a bunch of ravens picking at its head, and they seem to be dancing over its corpse, trying to no doubt invoke some sort of blood magic. Absolute psychos. Anyways, back to Dark side of the map. Roach speed's on the way. Double Evo chamber is here. A terrible Evo chamber placement. I mean, that's going to stop the Hellions from darting in, but other than that, it's so easy to snipe this with a push later on. That is... I almost guarantee that's going to get sniped. Unless Dark just crushes Ryung in this game, those Evos, I would not be surprised if 2-2 gets shut down. Alright, Queens are starting to shoo back the Hellions and the Ravens. 6 gases. Dark is obsessed with gas lately in this matchup. He's going melee Carapace! Okay. He's going to play just a handful of Ravages and Roaches into Ling Bane and a super quick infestation for a Hive. Okay. Wow, Dark does some special StarCraft, I'll tell you that much, guys. You know what I'd love? I would love for him to go Infestors and just play like Ravager, Ling, Infest into Ultra. I doubt he'll do it. Dark loves Banelings. They're a big part of his CVT, but I just think it would be really cool to see that style. Sero's been experimenting a little bit more with Infestor Ling, Banelingless style, 0 Banelings EVT. And I've always thought it's a very good style because it's basically mass Ling and Infestors, which are 2 of the most efficient units in the game. It's a little fragile, but man, if you land those Fungals, and if you just really use that mineral-heavy economy correctly, you have so many Zerglings that you've always got units ready to backstab and use the maneuverability. Hive starts almost instantly, as does a Baneling Nest. A few Ravages morphing, so it's 12 Roaches. Now, Ryung, does he see the Zerglings, I wonder? Because he's going tanks right now. If you realize what you're up against, normally you want to go second factory, get Widow Mines, play all that stuff. But he's actually going 8 barracks here. So Ryung is planning a push. Now, the way you want to do this normally against Ling Bane is you want to push now with 1-1. Maybe 30, 40 seconds from now, no later than 8 minutes. But against a Roach start, a player who's going Hive, you basically you want to delay forcing the fight until just before Vipers and like Adrenal Glands kicks in and that sort of stuff, or Lurk Attack if they're going for that. You basically want to just get as close to maxed out as possible, because the bigger the armies, the worse the Roach Ravager is. They all get stuck behind each other. They have very low damage. The more Marines and tanks you have, the more powerful your force is. And Ryung, he's starting 2-2. He's got the tech labs lined up. I think he's going to have a very fearsome push when it does get going. It's a giant 2-2 all in now. Ryung struggles in this matchup, guys, and that's why he does timing attacks almost always. In the macro game, he just does not have confidence in winning, but if he does a really committed 3-base push, we have seen him put Dark on the ropes multiple times last season in WTL. You guys know I cast a game on, what was that big purple map with the in-base, that was top left, top right spawn. Oh, I can't quite remember it. It had a little mineral wall on it. Stargazers. Yeah, that was that Stargazers game. Ooh, dodges the fungal. Very good move there. But this is such a dark game. He's going Infestors and Vipers and Roach Ravager and 2-2 and Ling Bane. So basically what Dark's doing, guys, is he's playing what I call the North American Special. The North American Special is where you get a random mix of units that don't mesh together that well in an almost nonsensical fashion, and then you throw them at your opponent willy-nilly with clearly very little understanding of how StarCraft works at its fundamental core, and then you win the game and your opponent rages because they're an EU macro virgin. That's basically the NA ladder experience, late at night especially, wrapped up in a couple of sentences. The thing is, the Banelings and the Infestors at the same time, like it's a little bit too much because he doesn't have enough gas to actually make a serious Baneling count, and he doesn't have enough Infestors to really forestall a big push. So I actually think Dark's kind of shooting himself in the foot by going both Spellcasters and Banelings and Infestors. I feel like the Banelings are almost completely superfluous, and he could do this with just Ling Ravager into Ultra with Infestor, or skip the Infestors and go to Banelings. But going both so early, very risky. Let's see, Ryung's getting anti-armor missile. Oh, the tanks aren't sieged. Ryung shoving a bit too far forward, maybe. Or is he? A medevac goes down, but the tanks do survive. Oh my lord, Ryung accidentally picked up some units. He's shoving deep on creep. An overwhelming amount of bio from this 8-Rax. The Blinding Clouds. Who the hell was expecting Blinding Cloud? Ryung definitely wasn't. A bunch of his tanks have gone down, but he's still got a big pack of bio. And this is what I'm worried about. There might just not be enough raw meat in here. Oh, Dark trying to hang on. He's making more Zerglings right now, but that Bioforce with... I mean, this was kind of an anti-timing because it was 1-1 versus 1-1, but now 2-2 kicks in, and it becomes super strong for Ryung because 2-2 is still 30 seconds away for Dark. And on a small map like this, going for both Spellcasters, Infestors, Banelings, and Ultras at the same time is utter nonsense. Ryung shows us how, especially when you're doing a 3-base timing, this was super greedy, and Dark just did not scout this game. Dark and Raynor, I always talk about both of them not scouting that much, but they have the micro of the gods, and so it doesn't matter a lot of the time. If he can survive this, he will win, because he has got a 4th, he's got a 5th. He just needs to hold on against this army. But man, if those Ravagers go down, his chances diminish. Ultras, 20 seconds from popping right now. If he can buy time for those Ultras, it's all going to be A-okay, but the Ravagers have all gone down. More units rallying through the middle. Ryung on 71 workers with a huge reinforcer bio. He's even starting +3 weapons, tanks, and liberators behind it. That base will go down. Dark evacuates. He's still got 3 bases mining, but the 5th base on the bottom isolated, the 4th base destroyed, and Ultra's popping into the fight. Takes out a few Marines, but no kindness plating. That is a 1-2 Ultralist versus 2-2 Bio, and with plenty of Marauders in the mix, Ryung can deal with it. Ryung with a nice, decisive 3-base push. He does this sort of stuff all the time, and yet Dark, man, he's got godlike micro. If he can bring it back, that's going to be incredible. But those chances, I said they were diminished. Well, they're getting worse by the second. He does not have an income advantage anymore. Gets the Raven, Parasitic Bombs, the Lib to try and damage it. The Queen's trying to transfuse. The Ultraling Bane tries to go in, but those Liberators, big Concord cannons dropping 75 damage a shot on those Ultralisks. I still like to believe they named that after the Concordia, the big cruise ship off Italy that sunk about the time Legacy of the Void was coming out when they introduced the Liberator. They said, this thing's so powerful it could sink a cruise ship. It's the Concord cannon. Here we go. Ultraling Bane coming in. The Vipers as well. Parasitic Bomb goes down, but there's just way too much bio behind that. He's got a few Banelings that are obviously dangerous on creep, but Ryung, ooh, the stim runs out at a pretty bad time. Takes a few Baneling hits, but nothing devastating. You know when the bio is started stepping towards the Ultralisks, that is going to be absolutely brutal. GG, well played. All right, guys. Well, Dark is now fighting for his team's survival. I think he got a bit ahead of himself in that last game. Lots of drones, 5 bases, Vipers, Infestors, Adrenal Glands, Ultras, Ling Bane, Hydra, Roaches, Ravagers. There is such a thing as too much tech, Dark. And especially on a map that is so good for aggressive Terran pushes and not scouting for those aggressive Terran pushes, a big mistake for him. Now Ryung has an opportunity on altitude to finish off the series for ONSYDE. I'm kind of laughing though, because I'm like, well, I don't know. Ryung hopefully has some special builds up his shoulders, because you don't really see Terran win this map against Zerg playing super standard, right? 3-base 8-Rax push, I think I've seen work on this map, but he just used that in the last game. I think 2-port BC is like one of the common things you see, right? Crazy builds out of Terran. Big battle mech openings, which Dark does struggle with, right? The 3 command center into 5 factory battle mech. I think Clem got him with it once. It's going to be interesting to see where we go. Barracks and gas for Ryung. We'll see. Looks like he's not planning to SCV scout. And it's a good idea. You don't want to be too safe against Dark in the early game. You don't want to give him any advantages. Looks like that base has 16 workers, but Dark, there's 3 workers on this middle patch here. Notice how there is 3 workers on that middle patch I have selected, guys, whereas there's only 1 on this top patch. Dark is one of the few pro gamers who almost never notices when this happens in the early game, because he just does not have that eye for detail in his openings. And part of the reason his openings are so inconsistent is because he messes that up. Now, if he doesn't fix that all game, that just means this mineral patch is going to mine out super early. There we go, he noticed. He fixed it. Poof! Because if you have that from the start of the game, that mineral patch mines out really fast, which gives you less overall mining. And then this mineral patch just isn't getting used effectively, and it's just a huge bummer to your income. It doesn't seem big, but yeah, it's good that Dark noticed, because I've seen multiple games where he had 2 workers that were tripled up and 2 mineral patches with only single workers, and he just was not paying attention. Whereas there's other players like, you know, Dark is chaotic. herO would never do that. herO has much better eye for detail. In Terran, there's Terran players who are a bit more chaotic with their play. Guys like Innovation always are perfect at like pulling those mules off and not wasting them and that sort of stuff. Ooh, Ryung almost got the block. Now, obviously, I am not perfect on those things either. I make those mistakes. Now, the Lings aren't going across the map. It's a bit too big of a map, I guess, to threaten. He does end up sending them across, but that command center will easily be finished in time. And going to take the triangular third by the looks of it. Does get rid of that SCV. Marine goes after the Overlord, but it makes it to safety. Reaper's going back to ferry that Marine home. Should be just fine. And that SCV gets out of there as well. Great pressure by Ryung. Delays the third, forces it to be off location. Dark was a little slow to start his Overlord, and he's actually going for a 4th Queen while being quite supply blocked. He does now start Zergling speed, but yeah, definitely an issue Dark has is if you throw him off with that opening harassment, sometimes he does mess it up. Ryung is hiding his tech in the back of the base. I think it's a good idea. Because Terran are known for doing dirty battlecruiser builds and weird surprises on this map, even if you're playing very standard, hide your buildings in the back. So if an Overlord gets halfway into your base, he's like, where's the other buildings? Oh my god, you know, so that Dark panics a little bit. I like that idea. We'll see if he actually plans anything super special with it, though. Starport and Barracks there. Tech Lab finishing up. Ryung's going to go for the swappy swap. Link speed's on the way. Still not back on gas, despite it being almost 4 minutes. You can see he's going to rally the second inject of units back onto it. So about 4 minutes back on gas just after for most of those. Already 3 active tumors up the front. He's going to put a tumor here. Normally you want to spread creep around your main base. Make sure you get that vision everywhere. For those who don't know, if you guys want a short lesson, a few people are saying, Pig, I want to visit Australia. It looks like a beautiful place. Like, what can we do? You know, like, you teach me the language. So we're going to give you a little lesson, guys. These here are creep tumors, and you don't spell it like this in Australian. It's C-H-O-O-M-A-H. That is how you spell tumor. And suddenly you're speaking Australian. You know, fit in with the locals, guys. Also, I know a lot of you are a bit eager to start dropping C-bombs, the word that rhymes with runt. Don't do it until you've been here a while. You're going to say it with the wrong inflection. It's going to mean something very different. More of what it means in the country where you came from. Don't say it until you really understand how you're meant to say it. My favorite is when Germans rush in to say it, and they're like, yeah, haha. They're so excited, and it sounds really aggressive, and you're like, holy crap, are you trying to start a fight with me? What's going on there? And they're like, what? But it's exactly what you said. And you're like, no, not the way you said it, buddy. You gotta be careful saying that around someone who's not too friendly. You might pick a fight accidentally without realizing it. Overlords don't see anything, neither do the Lings, so he doesn't really know what's up. The Banshees have hidden themselves, and oh my god, second and third factory and a third Banshee. We're seeing battle mech. Good to see, I like it. And it's up against Ling Bane, which is not the ideal composition against that. Evo chambers are actually kind of nice for blocking Hellions from running in. I don't normally like the Evos out here, but against a battle mech play, I think you're going to get a lot of continued use out of that. Let's see how Dark handles this. Dark's known for his weakness versus battle mech, losing maps to the likes of Juggernaut Jason, a North American streamer who plays Age of Empires half of the time, and getting hammered by Clem, a player who normally dominates. Let's take out a couple of drones. 3 of them going down. Hellion's going to veer backwards. Now, you got to be careful about revealing the extra Banshees. The moment Dark sees those, he knows your whole build. He's going to drop a Roach Warren and react. So the longer you can delay, just show nothing but 8 Hellions, 2 Banshees, 8 Hellions, 2 Banshees, the better it is, as long as he doesn't scout your production. 1 Banshee goes down, 6 workers have died. Going up to 5 factories right now. Magfield is on the way. 4th base over on the bottom right side. Up to 71 workers is Dark. No Roach Warren in sight. No scouting, guys. This is what I'm talking about with Dark. He loses game 1 because he doesn't scout. Game 2, doesn't scout. It's Dark, and I call this Dark and Rainer style because they both are so confident and just... They get away with murder because they're too good at the game. Their micro is too good. Their on-the-fly players too good. Okay, he's got to sense something's up. Why are there no units? He builds a Hydra Den. I don't know if he senses it yet. We're still watching from Dark's view. Ryung's done a really good job of hiding this. Infestation Pit Hydra Den. I think he's just playing Hydraling Bane up to Hive, guys. I think Dark is like, yeah, just gearing up for a normal macro game. I don't think he has any idea this is Mac. Let's see what Ryung can actually do. Now, obviously, he saw gases on the 3rd, but it's 7 minutes. It's not that early to be taking gases on the 3rd. I guess it was like maybe 6:45 when he scouted. I don't know if Dark's going to read into that. You can play against Battle Mech with Hydras instead of Roaches. He just saw a 3rd Banshee and a lot more Hellions. He's still not building a Roach Warren. Oh, this Mad Dog. Okay, Dark is... Seriously? We're not going to build a Roach Warren? He's going to play Hydraling Bane. It can work, but you 1 or 2 good Hellion volleys can ruin your day. He's got to be really careful. He's trying to get a Ling run by to morph into Banelings down there. He's going to roll that into that mineral line. 6th and 7th and 8th factories all being thrown down. Ryung wants to overwhelm with an onslaught of Cyclone Hellion. His 4th command center is about halfway done behind this. Banshee's coming down the left side. Gonna pick off a few of those active tumors, but you don't want to really lose any of these. He realizes there's no Overseer and actually goes back in. Could focus down a few of these. Not focus firing just yet. And gets a Queen and a bunch of transfuses out of them. Well done there by Ryung. Could go back and repair those bad boys up. Hellion Cyclone's gonna poke in the right side. Hydras have almost got that Groove Spines done. No doubt, muscular augments, move speed will come in behind it. Let's see if Ryung can defend this. We're on Ryung's vision. We're on Ryung's vision. He sees it. He sees it. He does pull the boys. Perfect reaction by Ryung. Okay. Okay, there we go. Only loses 1 SCV. Good response there by Ryung. Sends the workers back to mine. He's going to float out to that 4th base on the left. Raven starts up. 3 more Cyclones building. Blue Flame, Magfield. Now, you might be wondering, guys, where are the upgrades? What is he doing? Well, he's playing Battle Mech. Upgrades don't help Battle Mech all that much. Armor is nice, but usually you just want to have so much Hellion Cyclone that you swarm over the Zerg because the attack upgrades do not help your Cyclone lock on. Blue Flame Hellions already do so much damage to Zerglings. Getting a little bonus on it, it helps, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have it. So he's going 8 factory, 4th base. He might even take a 5th and 6th command center before going for the double armory. The problem is, of course, a transition into regular mech is very bad from here. There we go. Double armory does start up now at the 9-minute mark. Hellion Cyclone on the left. He's got to watch out for those Zerglings. This Hellions gets a drone. No, he doesn't. Damages a drone. He says, "You tell your friends, don't mind from here. This is our territory." The blue car gang. Pathogen Glands is on the way. 84 drones versus 76 SCVs. 22 Banelings, about to be 25. 10 Hydralisks and 120 Zerglings. Now, if Ryung groups all of his Hellions, I think he can roast that. But he doesn't know about it. Oh god, Ryung doesn't see! He sees it now, but it might be too late. He's got to veer left. He's got to veer left. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my god, mass Zergling to kill Mech. Dark is an utter savage. This man does not want to win this game. He wants to style on his opponent's grave. The man right now is literally kicking up his feet, doing one of those old bloody jigs from the olden days, dancing and singing merrily. I mean, he's straight Tom Bombadil all over that army on the left side. Ryung punishes the right, though. Gets in, gets 8 drones, gets a bunch of queens. Oh, watch out for the Hydras. Get out of there, Ryung. Don't fight the Hydras. Takes out a bunch of the queens. There's only 1 queen left on this map. That 1 queen over there to the right. She's deep in the red. The Banshees don't want to die too much, though. He's going to lose another one. And he's going to pick off 1 or 2 drones. He did remax pretty quickly, did Ryung. But still, I mean, he got close to remaxing. I should say reproduced very quickly. Dark is still even in supply. Neither one's ahead in that regard. These Banshees will pull back, hide in the corner for now. He doesn't have any more Banshees building, which I do think is an issue. I feel like Banshees is such an important part of this. On the other hand, Hydras are very annoying. So maybe he's just saying, screw it, I'll just build more Widow Mines. which is what his goal is, to deal with the Ling Bane. He says, if I have Widow Mines mixed in, we're good. Ooh, Cyclones hammer the Banelings. Dark does not have a great economy. Parasitic Bomb goes to the corner, takes out all 3 of those Banshees. And on the top left, Hellbat Run By comes in. Well, they drive by, and then they, of course, transform. Only getting a few drones, though. Denying this base in the bottom right is pretty big. If you can keep Dark on 5 base while taking your own, that'll be big. But where are the extra command centers? Ryung did not really have the explosive rate of growth that I normally expect from Battlemech. Battlemech's normally not about being cost efficient, but it's about just expanding faster and doing more than the Zerg player. Oh, this Widow Mine field could be massive, man. Banelings roll in, but those Widow Mines not quite taken out by that. Infestors coming out are a big disincentive to clump up the Alien Cyclone. One big fungal can ruin your day here, man. And notice he's keeping it out of scan range. Oh, he's hidden the Infestor on the right of the scan. It feels like Ryung sees everything, but he does not see that sneaky fungal boy. That fungal boy on the right side is waiting to put his green goop all over those Hellions and Cyclones. 5th base will get picked off. Massive Ling Run By goes towards the natural. Dark, very good move for him. Ooh. Luckily, the wall does get raised. Okay, that 3rd base is wide open, though. That could take a lot of damage, man. Few Lings go in there. Lots of SCVs will fall. Okay, Hellion does aggro those units back over. Only 6 SCVs, could have been a lot worse. Hydralisk does go down there. I love this Widow Mine spready that he's gone for. The diversification of all 3 Battlemech units, Hellion, Cyclones, and Widow Mines. The reactor units mixed in with the Tech Lab units. Very nice. +1 arm is done, as well as +1 attack. 2 2s now on the way. Abducting Cyclones, always a sick move. And with Infestors on the high ground, very hard to punish him for that. Widow Mines are going to fire on the Overseers. But now you got to get out of here. Mass Links around, coming in again, guys. He got rid of the Widow Mines, and here he comes. Oh, me, oh my. The Zerglings flank all night. They didn't even need to, though. Cyclones knew they were getting flanked, so they tried to stand with the Hydras, and we see just how fragile Cyclones are. Cyclones, you know, they're very good when they're hitting and running. They're very annoying. They're a frustrating unit. But, I mean, it's kind of like having an entire army made of super light cavalry. They're fast, they're good for attacking your opponent's supply lines and that sort of stuff. But the moment they're in a pitched battle, the heavy infantry or the heavy cavalry just rip right through them. Anytime they've got to stand in front of a hail of arrows, they just crumble because they do not have the armor to stand with it. And that's the problem with the 128 point Cyclone. Massive damage, great range, great mobility. But man, Lurkers are now running in. Hydras, Lings, Banes, and evacuating that 3rd and isolating the 5th base. Ryung actually had a good start, and I think if he kept growing the way I saw Jason do in that game, I know I'm referencing a Jason game, he's not even really an active pro gamer, but I feel like he just expanded so fast, and even though Dark got some good fights, he took him out, and it was on this exact same map. Clem kind of did the same thing as well on Gressfin against him, I believe it was. Cyclone Alien trying to hang on, but Dark is fighting for Dragon Kaiser Gaming. He says, we will not go down without a fight. Oh, those spine crawlers, even those are a frustrating thing. They do so much damage to the Cyclones. Dark's pulling his whole army back. He's still got 5 bases up. He's taking a 6th base in the bottom right. He does let this army escape for now. He's going to pull back. Doesn't want to overcommit. Wait, no. He sees this army. He's actually in the middle of the map. Nice Cyclone micro by Ryung, but he's got no tanks behind it. I always feel like continuing to mass Cyclone Alien only works if you out-expand your opponent. Because, oh my god, the Widow Mine friendly fire kills a bunch of Cyclones. You will inevitably always be cost inefficient with just Cyclone Alien, Banshee. So what you need to do is you need to have a bigger economy than them. Ryung tried to play more of a, I'm going to kill you with 8 factory mech on 4 base. And whilst it was going okay for him for a while, Dark eventually found the fights he needed. And he keeps Dragon Kaiser Gaming alive. We're going to the ace match. All right, guys. The grand finals, the ace match, I guess. It's not a grand finals, it's an ace match. Big surprise, ONSYDE resurrecting Maru. But let's be real, this is the big surprise. Dragon Kaiser Gaming believing in the power of Oliveira to bring it back here against Maru after getting crushed 0-2 before. I mean, he looked like he was going to bring it back in that second game and maybe tie it up 1-1. And then Maru was like, oh, hello. I'm just going to keep YOLOing you with proxying all of my structures outside your base, rallying units in nonstop. And it really was Maru. I mean, some people would say disrespecting his opponent, and it kind of looked like that, right? But that's just kind of how Maru plays. Maru does a lot of very chaotic openings, and he does open up with a gas first this time. So he did that game 1 before. I feel like if Oliveira's picked this, he's either just confident that he can beat Maru in a standard game, which I doubt, More likely, I would say Oliveira is feeling that he has a sniper build for something he expects from Maru on this map. Now, I don't know for sure, because it looks pretty standard. This doesn't look like a sniping build. Sending an SCV scout, taking a second gas real early, double gas, but this is super straightforward stuff. Does pull SCVs off those close mineral patches. Would like to see Oliveira kind of shuffle some of these SCVs onto those, but we'll see how he goes. Looks like it's A-okay. Orbital starts up for him. Now, you might be like, why is the orbital and barracks late? That's the way gas first works. It delays your orbital and reaper by a few seconds. It's naturally a more defensive opening, and if you go command center on the low ground, that is very risky. He sees the SCV there. He's going to go back to the high ground and wall out with a depot. Interesting. Does delay his command center by a little bit. He starts that up nice and close. Doesn't expect the SCV to come back up that ramp, so figures he can build it there and get away with it without it being scouted. And a factory comes down behind this for Oliveira. Oliveira wouldn't be surprised to see him go reactor right now, but no, it is going to be a 2 Reaper opening. Notice he's pulled 3 workers off gas in total. And when he starts the command center, that's when he's going to put back on gas. Oliveira showed in that earlier game we cast at the very start of this series that he has fantastic enjoyment in just get the gas down as soon as this command center starts. There we go. Command center goes down to 216. SCV starts, and we should see those workers go back on gas, unless he's got something special planned. Factory starts alien. Reactor should start on the barracks as well. There we go. And looks like a 2 Reaper alien pressure will be going out in the near future. Oliveira starting that 3rd depot. Okay, putting back on gas a little bit slower, only after the 3rd depot, so not crazy early like the last time. But still going to get a starport at a pretty crisp timing of about 2 minutes 50. Meanwhile, Maru on his side, his starport only a few seconds later. Gas first. It's such a good build order, man. Whoa, Oliveira jumps up the ramp. Oliveira jumps up the ramp and actually wins the Reaper battle. Sorry, I thought he was just going to scout. I didn't think he was going to poke in there. Very nice micro there by Oliveira. Gets a Reaper fight. Sorry, I should always be watching those units just in case. And, of course, Maru, with a Hellion coming out, will be able to defend with the ramp. Luckily, this spawn. If he was on the other side of the map, he wouldn't be able to lift off the barracks. As it is, he does decide to just build Marines and a Hellion. Interesting. Nice focus fire by Maru. Really good. He's forcing these units back without losing any of his own. He can now move that Hellion down the right side. Oh no! Oliveira with a misclick! That was a misclick, guys. He clicked his units over there thinking they would run that way. But of course, the Reapers are like, oh, there's a faster route here. Remember, guys, the Terran Dominion does not invest in education. This is why, as a society, you must if you want a better future. Can you imagine if you're like, oh, retreat back to the other side of the map, and they're like, this way is faster, and they just try to jetpack through the opponent's like bloody firing line? Not the smartest move from Oliveira's Reapers, and a big misclick costing him there the early advantage. He does go for a quick 3rd command center. Meanwhile, Maru is going for a drop play. Okay, so Maru's going to lean into a Widowmine Marine drop and then go for Ravens of his own. Raven production is ahead. Oliveira also has a Cyclone out, which is going to be really good for shutting that down. He sees the drop. Fantastic Hellion Scout. And that's going to make it really hard for Maru to commit. Ooh, look at that. Hellion drives out. Hellion drives straight back in and says, I know you're sending all your units across the map right now, you silly Billy. He's going to drive up that ramp as well. He sees Cloak on the way. That's a fake Cloak. Oh, Maru, you big boy genius. Of course, Cloak gets cancelled there, but on his vision, if he looks into the fog, he's still going to see those bubbles going. 3rd command center starts up for Maru. It is, of course, a bit quicker for Oliveira. Remember, Oliveira has been really good in his macro-focused TVT lately. He's very good at just keeping that economy rolling and continuing to go. Don't you guys like the idea of the whole Tech Lab upgrade thing, by the way, with the bubbles? For me, I like the idea that, like, how can we display science happening inside the Tech Lab? They're like, green bubbles. And you're like, okay, yeah, that does sound like what science looks like. Let's be real. Like, it is actually so easy to recognize what's, I mean, like, they're doing science in there. There's just something about, you know, universal things that we just understand, even though maybe they don't make the most sense. Factory, building tanks, Vikings coming out 2 at a time. Maru wants to be aggressive. This is how he just straight up destroyed Oliveira with that triple Raven Hellion bust. This is different though. There's way more units on the defense. Oliveira scanned, saw no units at home. He now sees these units. Have to pull that command center back. But command center getting tickled, not the biggest problem. And Cyclone actually gets a lock on the medevac. Does push Maru back for now, but Maru delaying the 3rd getting taken. And he's got his barracks coming up much faster. That's a 4th and 5th barracks starting. Whereas the second, third barracks, only halfway done for Oliveira. So Oliveira is down on the production. However, unit count, he's got 3 tanks. Maru has 0 tanks. Wait, Maru? Oh, Maru's playing the tankless style. Oh, this is really common these days. I remember him and Oliveira both tried this against each other early on in that grand finals at Katowice. But they didn't do it. They were both doing it at the same time. If Maru gets to stim 1-1 in shields, his army gets way better on the map. But right now, there's an extra Raven. Oh, he does have an extra Raven actually as well. So he's got 3 Ravens and the Marine advantage, but only 5 more Marines right now. He needs a little bit more time. Those siege tanks, he does not have an answer for until those upgrades kick in. Anytime you play these Marine builds, there's always a window before those Marine upgrades are ready, before all that barracks production kicks in, where you are simply in a much worse position in a straight-up fight. Looks like the Widowmine got picked off there as well. Continue to move forward is Oliveira. Nice Cyclone lock-on on that Raven, but good pullbacks. The medevac getting deep in the red. Maru wisely keeps Marines outside. If you get them pinned in and you have to stim at the tanks all from one side, then Siege Tank Splash becomes very painful. But by threatening the flank, he forces Oliveira to retreat, because Oliveira doesn't know when those upgrades are finishing, and he knows if he gets caught out, he just dies. If he gets stimmed on from all sides, siege tanks aren't very effective. Oh, I love this though. He's going to retreat to the middle of the map and then try to set up an ambush. Or is he? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maru's hot in his tail. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Those Vikings need to turn around and shoot down those Ravens right now. One siege tank's going to fall to the Cyclones before it even gets started. Interference Matrix and auto turrets going down. Oliveira's a little bit slow to drop his own auto turrets, but the Marines are holding okay for him. If the Vikings can land, his tanks will come out of that Interference Matrix, and they do. The tanks come out of Interference Matrix. Most of them do survive. At the end of the day, both Ravens go down for Oliveira, but 3 die for Maru. Maru loses a few more Marines, only kills the 1 tank. That was a good fight for Oliveira. Oliveira holds on. He's buying time for his barracks to catch up, and he's maintaining a 3-tank advantage. So even though, Maru swapped back to more generic production, he's still in a position where he's reliant on having a Marine advantage until that tank count looks a bit more similar. He scans the front. The Vikings are well spread, though. Double drop in the main ain't going to work. This is why drops in the natural are usually the exposed angle, but Oliveira's even got that covered with a siege tank. Really clean play by him. He's going 4th command center, armory. Cyclone gets caught in the bottom. Good stim on that to take it out. He's going to try to run forward, potentially, but he doesn't want to get trapped. Just leaves a Marine, pulls back, does Maru. He's building a random missile turret on the top of the map. Always a good idea. Get some random turrets out there. Spot incoming drops. Get a bunch of damage on them if you're lucky as well. 1-1 upgrades for Ollie are a little bit later. Ollie's not got 2-2 started, whereas 2-2 is 45 seconds underway. Maru, such a streamlined Marine-focused build. And what I'm really curious is the starport production, because this tells us about Maru's intentions. Right now, there's 8 Vikings out for Oliveira and none for Maru. And if Maru leaves it that way and doesn't start building Vikings, then it means he intends to simply have more Marines, more tanks, and more mobility, and use that to win this game, which is not a bad way of playing in the mid-game. But once you get to late game, especially if Oliveira, he's got the 2nd factory coming up, when he eventually gets a 3rd factory, he's got planetaries everywhere, that sort of stuff. Suddenly the Mass Marine loses opportunities to win the game. But here we go, guys. Check it out. 3 more barracks. 8 barracks play for Maru. Yes, he's got a 4th command center, but he's basically saying, I'm committing to Marine tank medevac for life. I am, for the next 4 or 5 minutes of this game, I am not swapping to air. Not at least for a couple minutes. I mean, if I do start an air transition, I'm probably not going to have the Viking advantage until about 14 or 15 minutes at the earliest. In the meantime, I'm going to have more Marines than you, more medevacs. If I catch you out with a Doom Drop, if I can stim in and catch you out of position, I'm going to smash. That base is 3 tanks. There's a few Vikings there. The scan there, maybe making him... Yeah, he walks in Sensor Tower Vision, does Maru. Maru realizing, okay, if I can't kill you, I better build more command centers. He starts one there. So he's going for 5 bases. Usually you use the Marine style to get an economic advantage by taking lots of bases earlier than your opponent. But in this game, it's actually Oliveira who has the earlier 4th. He's got a 5th command center, also started earlier. So Oliveira actually has better tech and better economy. The only thing he's down on is Marines and being a bit behind on Marine upgrades. But if Maru can't force a fight during this advantage, then Oliveira will simply pull ahead in all regards. And I was looking at this game going, hey, you're bringing out Oliveira in the ace match. You better be confident. I bet he has a sniper build. This is not a sniper build. Oliveira is playing a solid game of TVT here. And he's saying, don't worry, man. My white whale's out there, Like, I mean, maybe I'm his white whale, really, because I'm obviously the one who beat him in the big stage. But since then, he's been walloping me. But I know I can take down Maru. I believe it. I'm going to play the macro game. Now, I like to hype up players. Let's be real. Usually in this scenario, you're playing Maru, you get hyped up in the late game, and then he just kills you because it's Maru's late game. And you're like, yep, forgot. That's what Maru does to people in late game. He just wins. Oh, he's going to go for the marine bombs. Nope. Great defense by Ollie. Really good movement there. He was going to try to drop marines on the tanks to take the front volleys and do friendly fire. And then he was going to try to pull back like that. Maru apparently low on scans right now. Where is his command centers? Maru has not started an air transition, nor has he started the command centers. Okay, so I'll tell you, as someone who loves the style that Maru's playing, what you need to do is you need to put all your tanks in medevacs and boost in and take a position. But he can't now because he's outnumbered. Oliveira has the marine advantage now, at least in this position. He's going to run forward. It's 2-2 versus 2-2. Oliveira jumps on top, takes a pretty good fight. His tanks are on siege, though, and there's a big reinforce from Maru. That tank volley from Maru really hurt. Gets a few of the Vikings as well. 5th base building a planetary here for Oliveira. He's building 2 more command centers. He's going towards the Iron Bank. Uncharacteristically, Maru is not. Maru is not building more orbitals. He's only taking planetaries on his expansions. And that's going to cost him, man, because that means he's only got 3 orbitals for scans. And you're going to see way more for Oliveira as these guys start to kick in. Oliveira continuing to push forward. He's still got that tank advantage, 9 versus 7. He's got only half the Marines, though, and that number gets way lower. That siege tank, an absolute slayer. Siege tank's going to try to pull back. If Maru jumped on that and caught those tanks, I think he's just going to counterattack and win the game. But he doesn't have the same awareness. Remember, he's low on scans, so he doesn't have the same vision. He's sending a pack of Marines to the south. Now, this move could be good if you get in and catch him out of position. Problem, there's no medevacs. These guys are already damaged. These guys are drug addicts. Maru is literally throwing away the undesirables. This is disgusting. Guys, don't sign up for Maru's military. He will treat you like poo. He'll give you drugs so you can pull your trigger faster, and then he'll just throw you into the meat grinder. When did Oliveira do this? Oliveira goes for a crazy doom drop. Oh my god, crazy moves by Oliveira. Tries to get in the main. Maru reacts too quickly. The tanks do get sieged, but Oliveira may have overcommitted here. I don't know if this is worth it for him. He's getting a few of the Marines. At the same time, he shoves through the south, chasing that giant pack of Marines down. He does get cleared up in the north. If he can get a siege up on this base, that'd be kind of cute, but he doesn't have many tanks left. Maru now has the tank advantage, and he's got 3-3 versus 2-2 for the next 40 seconds of this game. Both players are on 5 bases, but Maru is trying to secure a 6th in the bottom. Extra orbitals are coming in. Oliveira with a fantastic evacuation. He's going to just stim on top of these 2 tanks. He says, tanks in the open, let's jump on him. And he's bringing more tanks in. Maru's got to be careful. Maru's just let him out position him. Maru thought he was routing him there, so he got cocky, started chasing. Oliveira takes advantage. He's going to evict these 2 bases. Command center gets cancelled, 1 gets killed. Tanks on the high ground for Maru start to land some big shots, but nice pullback for Oliveira. Tries to pull Maru's Marines into a choke point. Maru says, this is my side of the map, you D-bag. Get out of here. And he does end up wiping that push out. Cost efficiency for Maru looking great. Is it worth, though, losing the building command center and the orbital? He's going to lift his main down. Remember, Maru only has 2 orbitals, guys. And he keeps making planetaries, which is really bad for his progression in this game. Maru does not have the normal longevity. And Oliveira sets up an ambush, takes out his Marine frontline. A lot of Maru's tanks are going to die to this reinforce of Oliveira's Marines. But as I say that, no, never mind. That was a deep tank line. The Marines stemmed forward into the tank line and got blasted. Oliveira is up to 4 orbitals. He's making 2 more command centers that will no doubt be orbitals. If this game goes longer, he has a way better follow-up. Maru's going Ravens, but he's doing it without the economy. This is so uncharacteristic of Maru to not be building those command centers. He basically is the command center king. This is the man that built more orbital command centers in the last few years than any other Terran in the world. But instead, he seems just doggedly focused on winning right now with Marine, Tank, Raven. He's got command centers. He's got 80 workers. He says scans are for tryhards and losers. I'm neither of those. I don't need them, buddy. I'm just going to make more production in army. Orbitals are for friggin' sad losers. Double drop goes down the south side. They're all planetary, so the drops will struggle to find damage. Oliveira's going to need to micro those very well to hold position Marines behind minerals to deny mining. But he's doing a great job with the Liberators of pushing back these tanks. Maru is actually building Vikings for the first time in this game, so he's saying, okay, you know what, I will contest the skies. I'm not going to let you control it with just 2 Liberators and 2 Vikings. Double drop comes in, gets a bit of denying, and Oliveira does regain control of his side of the map as well. Oliveira's up on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. Maru also on 6 bases, so it's 6 base versus 6 base, 4 orbitals versus 2. Does need to find the time to start those command centers, but here we go. Skirmish in the middle of the map might turn into a full-on pitched battle. Indeed, it does. Interference matrix is coming in, but a lot of Marines from the south breaking Maru's position. Maru's Marines way too late to the party. Maru needs to pull away from that tank fire. Oh, Maru keeps getting caught out of position here. He should have had those tanks pre-sieged. The middle of the map's a great area to control, because then you choose which way to go. And remember, Maru has so few scans to track this. He's so reliant on sensor towers and just the occasional scan. That tank on the high ground should be able to get one kill. Will it, though? Oh, he doesn't have vision. No scans for Maru. He keeps having to boost medevacs forward. Maru, with only 2 orbitals, is so handicapped in this late game. To see him go for a 3-star port Raven transition before going extra orbitals is just absolute madness. The king of economic fundamentals slipping up, whereas it's Oliveira who has that progression. Liberator Harass comes in. He tried this in the earlier series. It didn't work out, but no doubt bringing back that frustration to Maru. Those Liberators that will haunt his dreams for the rest of his life. The ancient cistern Liberators. Here we go. Nice rotated the positioning. He's got a Marine run by in the north as well. Those tanks should clear that one up, but if they can get rid of the sensor tower, that's at least something for Oliveira. Oliveira is way up in the economy, but he still hasn't morphed those extra orbitals. You can tell he's tunnel visioning a little bit on the front as well. He knows he's got Maru pinned backwards. Maru lost that base apparently, or had to lift it. The planetary goes down to a stim of the Marines. What the hell is going on right now? Oliveira is in the lead. He is down 10 Marines, but he's up 6 siege tanks, which is massive. Maru has air control, but he needs more tanks. Maru's only building 1 tank at a time. Oliveira is going to YOLO. He sees Maru out of position. He dives. Good choice to pull back when he did. It looked like Oliveira was about to overcommit there, but he pulls back, does lose 1 tank to the Libs, but he's going to try and take out this baseline. Oh, Maru, you got to keep that Liberator alive. Maru's trying to move every tank forward at once. Oliveira's going to punish him for that. The Marines aren't there. The Marines aren't there. Maru was trying to go for a backstab. He's losing a lot of these Marines. If he could take out the Liberator, that'd be huge. But the Planetary, he didn't repair the Planetary. Maru with a blunder. He doesn't repair the Planetary on the left. He loses yet another base right now. Oh my God. Oliveira is happy to sacrifice these tanks. They actually take out quite a few Marines on the way out as well. This is getting wild at this point. We've got more command centers. He's going to float 1 forward for a Planetary. Finally remembers to make that orbital over there. Control groups are, of course, king in these chaotic games. Right now, Maru has the army advantage. I don't know why. The overlay is broken with the army supply, but it is. For whatever reason, the mod this is played on, I guess, doesn't show that. But anyways, we can tell it's massive. I mean, I can go Control A and show you. Army supply is up 30 for Maru, but his economy sucks. Maru needs to break him. The Marine tank trying to defend for Oliveira. He comes forward. The tanks are shelling. Maru trying to use numbers, but it was not an elegant engagement. He tries to just crack a brick into the face of Oliveira. Oliveira dodges, he ducks, he weaves. Karate chops him on the shoulder like bloody Sean Connery out of one of the original 1960s James Bond films. And to everyone's surprise, the bloody guy that gets karate chopped falls unconscious. I don't even know the physics of how that works or the bloody anatomy. But damn, Oliveira wins a macro game versus Maru and clinches it for his team. Yes, the score at the end of the day is 2-1, Maru versus Oliveira. But as a team, Dragon Kaiser Gaming come out on top. GG, well played, Oliveira.